When people ask me, how do you know when to stop wiping your butt? How do you know when you're on your period? Is sex better because you're blind? Stop it right now. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. You can use code Molly Burke to get 10% off your purchase of a website or domain name. Today, I want to talk about 10 things that you sighted folks do that drive me, a blind person, absolutely nuts. These things annoy me so much, and if they don't annoy me, it's actually worse. It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel bad about myself. And that's why I want to talk about it, because I know that most people are not doing these things with ill intent. Most people are doing these things because they simply forget, or they don't know any better, or they've literally never even thought about it. So maybe if I talk about it, it will make you think twice next time you're around a blind person. And if you're also blind, I would love to hear if these things resonate with you or which things I missed, because I will be honest, I sat down to talk about this because of the first one I'm gonna get into. And before I filmed, I was like, shoot, that's not a whole video. Like, I can't just rant about like one thing for this entire Molly Rambles. So I sat down to write a little list. Girl, before I knew it, I was capping 10. I was like, I need to stop at 10. Apparently, the sighted people annoy me more than I even thought. And so I am certain there is more that I missed, and I can always get into more if you guys enjoy this video. But the first one was really inspired by the holiday season we are transitioning out of. And by transitioning out of, I mean literally a month ago. But like Thanksgiving to New Year, I felt like I was dealing with this so often. And this is one of those things, we're starting with a sad one, that like literally does make me feel actually bad about myself. Like, it's not just irritating, it makes me feel so embarrassed. And that is a combination of things that all fall under the umbrella of bad communication with me as a blind person. Some examples of this that were really prevalent around the holidays when I was at parties or group dinners where there was lots of people is when somebody walks away from a conversation with me and doesn't tell me, or very similar, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, but they get like sidelined. They veer off to a different conversation that's happening, which is super common in dinner party or just party situations where there's lots of people with multiple conversations all going on around you. I know for me, as somebody with really good ears, like I'll often hear multiple conversations and I'll be kind of tracking what's going on in all of them. And sometimes I'm even guilty of it getting sidelined. But the difference is when a sighted person is talking to me, they see that I got sidelined and then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But sighted people so often over the holiday season were doing this to me, and I know they didn't mean to, and I know they probably like truly didn't even realize what they were doing, because a lot of these people are like casual acquaintances that don't know me super well and don't hang out with me a lot, or just randomly met me for the first time and don't realize that when you're communicating with a blind person, you need to tell us when you walk away. You need to excuse yourself from our conversation or say, sorry, just give me a second, and veer to that other conversation and pipe in. Because when I would sit there and continue to talk and somebody had their back turned to me or had literally left and gone to the bathroom or to get food without saying anything to me, the amount of embarrassment and shame I felt internally, even though I know it's completely not my fault, it just makes me feel like an idiot. It makes me feel like I look so stupid. Like everybody else around is like looking at me like I'm stupid. I don't know how else to say it. It literally fills me with so much shame. And I know that so many people are going, you shouldn't feel that way. I know I shouldn't feel that way, but knowing you shouldn't feel something doesn't mean you're not going to feel it. It still makes me feel utterly embarrassed when I do that. And it sucks because it feels very outside of my control, which is why I'm telling you so you don't do it to somebody else in your life who's blind. And within the same vein, when I walk into a room and somebody's already in that room and they don't say that they're there, like they don't tell me that they're already sitting in there, or I'm in a room and they walk in and don't announce themselves, like I just seriously need the sighted people to announce themselves everywhere they go. My boyfriend's pretty good at this. Sometimes it completely startles me, which cannot be helped. Like he'll walk in and he'll just like launch into asking me a question or something. I'm like, it scares me so much because I don't see you coming in, but just truly like announcing yourself everywhere you go. It's really helpful. Number 2, when you add for a blind girl or for a blind person to the end of anything, that is absolutely no longer a compliment. It is not what you think it is. When you say, oh my gosh, you're really good at doing XYZ for a blind girl. Oh my God, you're really pretty for a blind girl. Stop. Stop qualifying my talent, my capabilities, my level of attractiveness, and lumping it into a connection to my blindness. That's not a compliment. It's very backhanded. All you're saying is, wow, I didn't think blind people were capable of being attractive. I thought they were all hideous. Wow, I didn't think blind people were capable of being talented or having a skill that I don't. That's crazy. You're kind of just like exposing yourself. Just say you're attractive. Just say, wow, you're really talented at that. And leave it at that. Number 3, any of these oh so common guide dog violations. When people pet my guide dog while saying, I know I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, Karen, so then don't do it. Like, you putting your selfish need to pet every dog you meet because it's so cute and I love dogs. Guess what? We all love dogs. Stop. Like, it's so annoying to put yourself so front and center that you cannot understand that by petting my dog, you are putting his training and my life potentially at risk. He's coming in. He literally just entered the room as if to be like, yeah, mom, I'm here for this. Spill that tea. You do it. You say it. But please still pet me. Can you coosh, baby? He's literally like sitting. I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh, hi, baby. He says, we're talking about me to guide dog, so I gotta come and pipe in. I gotta come and add my 2 cents here, my 2 paws. Okay, back to it. That is so irritating. Along with that is the drive-by pettings, I call them, when people walk by and just glide their hand along him. Did you just paw the tripod?
He wants huggies.
Oh, he wants a hug. Buddy. Can you goosh? He's been super clingy to me all day today. It's so cutesy. Like, it's one of these days where I'm wandering the house a lot, room to room, doing things, and he just keeps following me, and then he'll lay down and get comfy, and then I leave again, and I feel bad because then he has to get up and follow me. You're cutesy. Yeah, the drive-by pettings, so irritating. When people say, I know I can't pet him, and then follow it up with doing everything else under the sun to distract him. Kissy noises, squeaking something, making faces, making eye contact and talking to him in a baby voice, putting their hand out for him to sniff it. Ma'am, those are all versions of the same color. You're doing the exact same thing. It's so annoying. And within the guide dog violations is also the people who confide in me that they have a fake service dog. This has happened to me literally too many times to count. It's comical. Who would think that you should go to the person whose rights you're putting in jeopardy and tell them that you're doing it and act like they should think it's funny? Or be like, oh, good job finding the loophole. Like, it's so wild to me. And every time it happens, it's like 99% of the time it's at an airport and they're traveling with their fake service dog. And every single time I'm quite literally in such shock that I don't even know what to say. So any advice would be helpful. Seems like a good time to take a quick break to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. I really appreciate this long-term partnership that I've had with Squarespace, and a great way for you to support my channel is to support my sponsors, and Squarespace is such an amazing one. I've worked with them for years, and I have personally used them to host my website, mollyburkeofficial.com, for years, and I recently updated my website and used some of their new AI tools, which made it so much simpler. Design Intelligence is Squarespace's suite of AI-powered design and content tools. It includes features that help throughout the website creation process, like content generation, design guidance, brand style suggestions, automated copy, layout recommendations, and more. It offers AI-assisted design everywhere in the platform. Blueprint AI is one of the really helpful features within Design Intelligence. It's essentially an AI-powered website builder. It helps you build your website from scratch by just simply answering a few questions. Then it generates a full website foundation for you, including layouts, pages, imagery, recommended color palettes, which is my favorite part, fonts, and AI-generated content tailored to your brand. And we all love to make sure that our brand identity is aesthetically pleasing and fits our vibe, and that is where their visual design tools come into play. There are so many tools built in and ready to go that you can use to customize your website and make it stand out from everyone else's. There are dozens of modern and intuitive options that suit any brand or business. And when you're ready to start your Squarespace journey, you can use code Molly Burke to get 10% off your purchase of a website or domain name. Now, back to the list. Number 4, when you give me vague directional language. There, here, this, that you are literally speaking to me in Japanese and I don't know that language. Like, you are communicating in a way that I am incapable of comprehending. If you are pointing, if you are using language that is not descriptive, if you are saying things like on the green couch in a space that I don't know, like if you say on the yellow couch in my house, obviously I know which couch that is. Also, I only have one couch, which makes it easy. But like when people do stuff like that, it's so frustrating, particularly when they then act like I'm being stupid because I'm looking lost and confused. I've had people like one woman, a TSA agent, when I was going through the security once, I had like a 5 a.m. flight on my period. It was such a nightmare already. I was so burnt out. And she starts yelling at me because she was pointing and telling me what to do. She first said, go there, to which I said, I don't know where there is. And then she said, do this, and like made a gesture. And I didn't do it because I didn't know what it was. And she started yelling at me. I was just crying. And my poor mom was traveling with me. This was years ago. And she was like on the other side of the like metal detector. So she couldn't do anything to help me. And she just sees me crying and she's like, what is going on? And it was just so overwhelming because it really like feels like I'm being spoken to in a different language. That's all I can say. And I completely empathize with people who like immigrate to a country where it's a new language and how overwhelming that feels, because it just feels like so overwhelming to me. Number 5, when people touch me without consent. People seem to love to like step in and help without asking or without me asking for their help. I am all for people offering help. I will never say like don't offer help. We need more community and compassion and support in society. So I'm all for offering help, but never step in and assume I need help and just start giving it, because sometimes that can actually be more harmful and more dangerous and disorienting than actually helpful. A lot of times you might see a blind person standing at a street corner waiting to cross, but they're listening to the cues. Like sometimes I may have to, if it is an unfamiliar or complicated crossing, I might have to stand there for 4 rounds through the cycle before I am confident that I know when is the safe time for me to cross. That's just my system. That's just unfortunately what I have to do if it's not a crosswalk that has any other accessible elements built in, like the beeping or the vibrating or the spinning cones in the UK. That is just normal for me. You could, if you see that, say, would you like help crossing the street? And I very well may say yes, and then direct you on how to best support me. I will tell you if I could just grab your elbow. What I don't want you to do is hold my hand. That is reserved for my romantic partner or when I am scared. I do not want you to grab my shoulders and push me forward. I do not want you to grab my wrist and pull me behind you. And I certainly don't want you to do any of these things without first asking if I even need help. 6, people who insist they know the cure. I'm sorry, if my world-famous ophthalmologist who specializes in retinitis pigmentosa and has devoted her life to this doesn't know what the cure is, I am certain you do not either, Helen. The amount of people that have suggested fish oil, carrots. I am not kidding. The amount of people that suggest low inflammation diets, that I should get acupuncture. And in fact, I do get acupuncture, and even my own acupuncturist thought he could help my eyes stop shaking. Listen, I am absolute woo-woo, okay? I am total woo-woo and have been almost my whole life, all right? I am very into Reiki, acupuncture, osteopathy, naturopathy, homeopathy. Like, I am all into it. Not because I think it will cure me. Do I think that like eating a low inflammation diet is super beneficial? Yeah, for everybody, I think that. Like that, I just think that period. Inflammation in the body is not good. It is the root of many disease, and it can support your health. That's why I eat healthy, to support my health, not to cure a retinal disease. My retina has deteriorated. It's already dead and gone, baby. It ain't coming back to life because I take some fish oil and eat a few more carrots. That's insane. And I'll even go a step further. I will say my ophthalmologist told my family for as long as I can remember that eating really healthy whole foods and taking, yes, even taking supplements would support my vision. It will not cure it. It will not completely stop the progression. It will not restore vision. I've even seen a doctor, I don't know if he is or not, but a doctor on TikTok claiming that he cures RP through dietary changes, and it actually irritates me so much. It's so upsetting to me because it's saying like, you, the person with this disease, have ownership over this. If you change your habits, then you'll be cured from this genetic condition that you have. And it's simply not the case. I do everything in my power to live the most like health conscious, wellness based woo-woo lifestyle I can. And I still went blind, and I'm not getting any vision back. And that's okay. I do the best that I can to mitigate other disease, to help with other chronic illnesses I have. And I do seriously believe in these things and really think that they do help a lot of chronic illnesses, but they do not remove them. They can help reduce symptoms, mitigate symptoms, and improve quality of life. They do for me as somebody with other chronic health conditions. It really helps me with my hormone issues, PCOS, PMDD. All of these things are really helped by having a low inflammation diet and healthy lifestyle. But I still have those things. And along with this is people who offer to pray for me and my healing, or people who don't even ask. I have had people just come up to me and physically put their hands on me. Goes back to number 4 or 5, whatever that one was. Don't touch me. Like, people have come up and put their hands on the side of my face, put their hands on my shoulders, grabbed both of my hands, and started like just praying over me. Don't, please don't. It's so uncomfortable. Like, it's one thing if I am going to your church and you see me in that setting and you ask, would this be something that you would want? But when people go out of their way to like thrust it upon me when I'm getting my groceries or out for coffee with a friend, it is incredibly invasive and uncomfortable. And it's such a weird feeling, just feeling like everywhere you go, people look upon you as if something about you needs to be changed. And that like, if you just pray enough, if you just eat healthy enough, if you just drink enough water, if you live a good enough life, like, you'll cure yourself. And put that burden on yourself when you're already going through so much and there's already so much more on your plate as a disabled person to consider every single day. It's not what you think it is. Number 7 is when people undermine my independence. I really hate this. When I am trying to be independent and somebody criticizes how I do it, tells me how I could do it better, offers to just do it for me because it's quicker, better, or faster. It's really frustrating because I want to feel independent. I want to do as much as I can. I want to contribute. And some days I'm not as able to, some days my spoons are real low and I am incapable of contributing in some of those ways and being as independent as I am on days when I have more energy, higher levels of spoons. I haven't been doing as much, so I've got more to give. But when people like step in, and I know it's oftentimes well-meaning, but I think there's a way that you can, and it like happens in my social media comments, it happens in my real life, it's happened my whole life. Like, when I try to learn how to do something, all I need for you to do is like encourage that I'm trying and kindly suggest like, oh, maybe you could XYZ. But like unsolicited advice or correction, yes, sometimes I don't do things the same way that a sighted person does it, and that is okay. I do things in a different way. The goal is that I'm still able to get that thing done. Or I maybe am slower to learn and need a bit more hands-on help than like a 32-year-old woman would if I could see learning a new skill. But that doesn't mean I need you to jump in and take over or jump in and correct how I'm doing it in a negative way, because it's already scary for me trying to learn to do a new thing. It's already a lot for me trying to take on a new thing and all that comes with that, and trying to figure out how will I adapt this inherently inaccessible task or activity to make sure that I can achieve it. That's already a lot. And so for me to get the courage to try and do that and then to feel like shut down right away is not a great feeling, and I really don't like that. And I know a lot of other disabled people feel the same. Like, I see a lot of disabled content creators literally say in their videos, like, please do not give me unsolicited advice. Please do not suggest other ways I could do this. I've already thought about it. I am not like that. Like, I do love advice. I don't think I know everything, and I'm happy to learn. And genuinely, some of the advice that I get in the comment section of my videos has really helped me and has like given me ideas or tools that I didn't even know existed or wouldn't have thought of. And I really appreciate that. It's just the way that you do it or the way that you say it makes all the difference. And I want to be clear, I'm really grateful when people do offer to help with things when it is extremely challenging and time consuming and hard and stressful for me, and it's easy and quick and simple for them. I greatly appreciate that. When my parents, my partner, my friends are willing to do that, that means a lot. I'm more so talking about when the first thing is to jump to like criticizing my attempt and taking over for that reason because you feel like I'm not doing it good enough or I'm not doing it the way you would do it, or things like that. That's when I feel frustrated by it. Number 8 is when people think that they can ask me invasive personal questions when I'm in the back of an Uber. It's one thing when we are here on the internet and this is literally my job, it's what I choose to do, and I am genuinely very passionate about it. But it's so frustrating that I even feel the need that I have to answer all these questions on the internet so that people don't ask random blind people in person. And I feel that I need to do this because I've had so many invasive questions in my real life, my entire life. And I'm not talking like, how do you use a computer? Or how do you do your makeup? How do you cross the street? Fine. But when people ask me, how do you know when to stop wiping your butt? How do you know when you're on your period? Is sex better because you're blind? Stop it right now. Why is my Uber driver asking me this? Why is my random server asking me this? It's so weird. And I saw a video from another blind person recently, and they were like, I see all these like blind social media creators talking about how people ask them how they know when to stop wiping, and I've never been asked that. Is this like a real question blind people get? And the comment section was like totally a mixed bag. There was like half people were like, no, I've also never been asked this, and then the other half were like, yeah, how have you never been asked that? I've been asked this so many times. I remember being asked like, how do you get dressed? Like, how do you put clothes on? How do you eat food? And some of those aren't as invasive as like, how do you know when to stop wiping, or is sex better because you're blind? But there's still like these types of questions that make me feel like you assume I'm an idiot. I'm a full-grown adult and you don't think I can eat food or get dressed on my own? I don't like it. Come here on the internet and ask me or other blind creators who openly say they're fine to answer those questions, but don't be going up to blind strangers and thinking it's okay to ask them these kinds of things. Number 9, the fact that society treats blind people and disabled people in general like we should be grateful for every opportunity, that we are so lucky to get those things. When people ask blind people for free advice, free labor, or completely devalue and undervalue our expertise in a way that they would never do to non-disabled people in that same position, it's very frustrating. And it's so hard because like I do love educating and helping people and giving them advice, which is why I do that for free on the internet. I have literally made not hundreds, thousands of videos that you can watch across all sorts of platforms, long, short, whatever you want, that are free for you to consume, where I'm sharing my knowledge, my wisdom, my thoughts and personal perspective and opinions on things. But for you to come to me then in like a work setting and ask me to provide hyper-specific free consulting for your business where you will then turn that around and make money off of it, which is, let's be clear, why you're asking, is not okay. And number 10, when disabled people get excluded from the diversity, equity, and inclusion conversation, it is honestly even more hurtful when other minorities exclude us from the minority conversation than when the general public does it. Because I am somebody who, like, majority of my friends are some kind of minority, and I see so much kinship in other minorities. I see that what we are fighting for is ultimately the same thing, it just looks a little bit different. I see that the struggles we have, the discrimination we face, the microaggressions, feeling othered, these are shared experiences. Being bullied, struggling to get equal access to employment, marriage inequality. We all share these struggles, or many of us do. And so then when those people who seemingly should understand how it feels also exclude you, it's really hurtful because I feel like we're in this together. Like when we come together and all fight, it is so much stronger, especially because disability is the only minority that intersects all other minorities. You can be gay and black and in a wheelchair. You can be an immigrant who's transgender. Like you can it's just like we transcend all minority groups. And so when we then get missed from those conversations, it's very frustrating. And so many times I will be at events where there's like diversity panels or read articles or watch documentaries about these kinds of topics. And you'll see gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation all being represented, and we're not there. And that's really frustrating to feel like even in the conversations where we should be safe, we're not. Some food for thought if you're a fellow minority. Anyways, that is all 10 that I could think of in the literal 5 minutes I had before I sat down to film this. So I'm sure there's more. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and share your sighted people icks or non-disabled people icks down in the comment section below. And until next time, you can click over here to watch this Molly Rambles video I recently did about why people seem to think my boyfriend is just a friend and other interabled couple situations that I find myself in. Or you can click over here to watch a reaction video I recently did reacting to people getting parasites and worms in their eyes. Okay, bye.